Welcome back to another episode of Tarmac Obsession. So today guys, I'm going to show you how to turn a 260Z half shaft from this into this. So this is the half shaft from the 260Z that I'm restoring. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to split off these ends and get these unis out. There's new universal joints I've got to fit back in. I'm going to then strip the shaft out, wash it, rub it all back, respray it. Inside here there's a slide piece with ball bearings and little spacers. Get them out, clean them all up. Boots are really good condition, so I'm going to keep them. New circlips, and yeah, put them back together. When she's finished, she's going to look just like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with actually getting these clips out of the end here and get these unis out. So I'm going to use the press so I can get them out pretty easily. Yeah, so let's start doing that. So here I'm just going to get these clips out. You can see them in there, that little piece. I'm just going to use a chisel and a hammer and just knock them out. So just quickly whack them out. Shouldn't have too much tension on them. You can worry about the clips flying out and smacking you, so just chuck a rag over them. That stops the clips. So I'm just going to whack them out real quick. So there you can see the clips starting to appear. So I'm just going to do that for all 4 clips, and then I'll come back and show you what we're going to do next. So there's the 4 clips that are removed. I'm not going to bother showing you the other end because it's the same. They're just exactly the same style of clip and everything like that. So we're going to knock these through now with a socket and an impact piece on the vise, on the press. So basically we're just going to pop that on top of there and knock that through and just push it through to the other side, loosen up one side, then push it back through the other way, and that should just pop straight off. So I'm going to put it on the vise, on the press, and give you a look at what that looks like. So with this, you want to try and make it as up and down as you can, as straight as possible. So just because it's not flush on the outside, as you can see, it sort of tapers in. Just use that little piece, this little press piece, so it just sits up a little bit. Once it starts popping through, I'll put a donut underneath it so I can push it straight into the donut so it doesn't bottom out onto the plate. Yeah, I'll show you this pressing down. I'll just put this on the other side and I can show you it being pressed. Let's put a bit of pressure on there now. You should see it start to pop down. It's starting to move, you can see it. So that's about 4 tons worth of pressure. You can see it's starting to slowly move down. That's enough on that side, and we're going to just flip it over and pop it the other way. Like I said, I'll put that donut in and you'll see that the other side comes straight out the bottom. All right. So I've just spun it over and I'm going to press it back the other way, so you'll be able to see it pushing back through the other side now. So you can see there, I've loosened it on both sides, I've pushed it both ways, so it's free inside there now. It's still tight because they're press fit, but I'm just going to bop it in the vise and get those last little bits out. Might just actually leave it on the bench, give it a whack with a hammer first, just push it down that little bit further, make it a little bit easier to get it out. But you need to push them both ways, that's the key, so they won't come out one-sided, you have to get both of the ends out. So I'll just give it a quick knock in the vise and in the hammer, then with the vise, and we'll get it free. I'm just going to use this little donut piece here, just right on the edge of the table above the leg, so there's a heap of weight behind it. Turn that over. Just sit in there pretty nicely. Grab the impact socket and that, just give it a knock down. There now, I'm just going to give it a whack. So So that's pretty free in there now. I'm just going to grab a big set of grips and grab that out. And that should just pop straight out over the top. There you go, one side out. Just going to use this impact piece here and just knock that through. So that is at off. There's the yoke. So I'm just going to push the rest of that, the rest of that uni out of there, and then do the other side, and then I'll get that ready to go, and I'll show you how to split it all apart and what's inside the middle of these things. Okay, so I've got those two yokes off, and that's all separated from there, and I've taken these clips off here. Now I'm just going to pull that back, and you'll see inside here. Ugh. Pretty tight. So inside there's an E-clip which I'm going to get out, and that should let this whole bit slide out. So I'm just going to try and get that out now. Alright, so I'm going to use the E-clip pliers, and I'm going to try and get this clip out which is in there. Now it's hard for me to shoot at a good angle, but I'm going to try my best to show you what I'm doing. So there's one of the sides, and there's the other one, I can see it. This grease is 43 smelly years old. It really does stink. There we go, that's it. So then I can just pull this apart and it should come straight out. There it comes. And the vacuum pressure on the grease makes it a bit difficult, but it's coming. There we go, the little spaces. There we go, out. So that is it. Here's a part. Okay, so here's what we've ended up with the outer piece, inner piece, 12 spaces, 12 ball bearings. This is the end that sits over here to stop them coming this way, and the clip for them. This is the top washer and the top clip and the boot. I'm going to put these two in the wash now along with the two yokes, and I'm going to rub them back. I'm going to paint them properly. So when I'll probably do that at home in the next couple of days. So I'll get them all painted up and I'll get them back and I'll show you the reassembly. Okay, so I've got the two pieces back now. They've been through the wash and they're ready to start preparing. So I'm going to use the wire wheel and I'm just going to get all that surface rust off all these, and then we're going to give them a nice coat of paint. Alright, so the yokes are all painted and the rest of the stuff's in the booth just hanging up and drying. So they're all done. Front shaft's done and the other yoke's done. So I'm going to leave these overnight and I'm going to come back tomorrow, grab them, head back to the office, and over the weekend I'll put them all back together. Yeah, should look really good when it's done. I'm super excited to get it finished. Okay, so I'm back at home now and I'm going to put this pieces together here and then go back to the office and use the press to put the yokes on so I can put the uni joints in. So this is pretty straightforward sort of put together piece. So first thing you're going to want to do is spin your CV boot inside out, get all the old grease off it and then lube it up. So you got to get that on first. So that on that way, so that comes down this way, and then it'll turn back over and be the right way. So I'm just gonna make sure this is all properly clean. It's been through the wash and it's been through paint, so it's all ready to go. Just a couple of little bits of little grease in the end here. Just want to get that out, make sure that's not in there. All right, so first thing I do is put a little bit of grease on this, and then these black gloves, I got these from a catering place, and they are just awesome. So it helps you when you're working at home to stay nice and tidy. So I'm just going to push this down here and get it over the top. Okay, just got to get that over there. It's a pretty tight fit, so you have to manhandle it a bit. Oh, there we go. That's just over the top there. Just slide that down, and that's where it's going to seat. Then we can spin it back the other way to get it all back together. So first thing you want to do is put this end back on, this end here. So that is the piece that goes on the end. Now, you can see it on the camera, but there are some little divots on one side. You can sort of catch them in the reflection, and none on the other side. So that tells me it goes in that way. So I'm going to get that on first and get circular pliers and get that mounted. I'll fit this up first. You can see that all right. Bring it a bit closer. Just get that on there. Set there. So that's on. A little E-clip. So the sequence that these go on in is ball spacer, ball spacer, ball spacer. So I found the easiest way is to put a little bit of grease in there, all the way along, and then ball, spacer, ball, spacer, ball, spacer. So work like that. Grease over the top to hold it in place when you're spinning it around. That will just keep it there in the same location. On to the next one. Ball. So I actually should have put that on first. I'm going to start this again. Anyway, I'm going to stop. I'm going to put that on first, then I'm going to come back. So yeah, that goes on first. That goes on first, then the washer goes on. So circle clip on, then the washer goes on. You can't slip it on after, which I just found out. Fantastic. Yeah, that's on, that's on. So that's the right way around. Yep, that's the way down. E-clip again. Beautiful. The grease, ball, spacer. This is a really greasy job, so make sure you've got hand towels ready to go when you've done. The shit gets everywhere and it stinks. Old grease is gross. That's why I like new grease. Pretty rainy day today again in Perth. It's been about 10 straight days of rain, so it's getting a bit boring. Can't get out and do anything. Saw my A86 video the other day. I was out in the back of the hills having a bit of fun in that. Can't show too much fun because people do watch that and complain. But it's so good to get that car out again. I have to spend more time getting out. When I've done the Datsun, I think I'll give that a resto. Maybe not a full resto, but definitely a level of restoration. Might do the interior or something like that. Probably could use. I've got one JDM seat in it, but I could probably get, if I get the other JDM seat, I might get a pair of JDM seats. Retrim the doors. It's got a cage. It goes together pretty nice. This is a good little car to drive. Ball spacer, ball bearing, spacer, last ball bearing, and the last spacer. Make sure these have plenty of grease on them. Hold them into spot. Right. What we're going to do next, they're all done. We're going to slide it down into this shaft. Sorry. I'll lean that up against that for a second. Okay, into this piece, we're going to slide that down into there. You only have to make sure the yolks are in the same alignment, not spun or quartering like that. So we'll get a bit of grease in here to start. A lot of grease in there. Make sure they're all still in the same spot. They are. Make sure that's aligned. I should just slip straight down. Okay, so now use this washer just to push them down at the same time so they all go down evenly. It's a bit of pressure on it. does take a bit of a push, but it will get there. Goes, that slides down, there we go. There's a nice little put. There you go, that's all down there now. You can pull this up, hold that washer down and just pull this up a little bit just so you get a little bit more clearance. Pull that boot up. Next thing you're going to want to do is get that circlip on. And that pushes down far enough, it gives you clearance for the circlip. Just want to get onto that E-clip. Make sure you can see that alright. Take that down a bit just so it seats nicely. There you go, it's seated in there. You can see in there it's all nice and seated. Very greasy, but it's in there. So on the other end you've got this. You just want to spread that around nicely. I'm going to try and pull it up a bit, which is going to be super tight because it's all fresh and new. And try and stretch it apart. Oh, jeez, it's hard. So I've got grease on everything now. I've just got that in there. I'm just going to pull this back just to give it a bit of movement. There you go. Just to give it a bit of movement so I can get the end piece on. Spin you back around. Grease all over my tripod, which is just awesome. So this is this little end cap which has got to go back in. It's got an O-ring seal, so just a bit of grease on the O-ring. Get that ring, pop that in there. This is going to seat in there. Yep, nice and sealed. You get this other E-clip. Last one that's going to sit inside that. E-clip pliers. It's seated back in there now. So that's all back together. Now, next thing I'm going to do is turn this boot over. That's the right way around, that's correct now. And I'm going to grease the hell out of the inside of this boot. Sorry for the poor filming because it's hard to make sure the camera's in the correct spot all the time. It's all greased up in there. All done. That's going to slide over there. Top's too far down, so push the top back up. Oh, it's hard. So greasy. Screwdriver link. Okay, that sucked because it's greasy as hell now, but I got that backwards the right way. So there's that. I'm going to refill with grease because half it's all over the bench, which is going to take me a long time to clean up. I'm going to re-grease this boot. Get as much as the outside grease into the inside part of that. That sits on there. That sits up there. Scratched all my new paint off, so I have to tidy the paint up when I'm done. That is that. Back together. Next thing we're going to do is get the clips on. So I'll get these greasy gloves off and get the clip gun and then clip it up. Alright, so I've got grease everywhere, which is annoying as hell, but I'll fix it up after. So what I'm going to do now is actually get these clips on. So that's the small end clip and the big end clip. So I've got the E-clip gun from the office, which I'm not a full bottle on using, but I'm going to work it out. It's going to go around there and double back over. I mean, you probably find that these boots are no good, but it looks like these boots have already been done at some point, not that long ago. So they're actually pretty good condition. So otherwise I would have changed them, changed everything else. So I might as well change them. And because of all the grease, this is super hard to keep holding still. There you go. All right. Through the little slot. There. two-parter. There's the front bit, which is the cutty bit, and then the back bit, which is the windy bit. So I'll put that through slot there. Turn that over so it goes through the low slot at the front, pokes through. Try and get a little bit more of this out actually. Try and tighten it up as much as I can before I do it. With the other one, I've done the other one already. I did actually clean off as much of the crap as I could before I did this, so it was a bit easier. So try and clean them before you move on to the next thing. Get that grease off. Right, that goes on there. That comes up here and through the little slot in this. A little slot in there. Wind it nice and tight. There. It just goes right through. You can see that's coming right through the whole lot now. We just wind this on so it gets nice and tight. Which is that point. I'm going to bend it over. Give it a little fold, hold it in spot. I'm going to give this a turn, I'm just going to cut it. Cut it off there. Take that down. And there's two little tabs on the sides. There's two little tabs that are sticking up. These ones just here. Just going to bend them over, that's going to hold the clip in place. Alright, that is the front one done. And if I could just wind that, I'll just give it a little tap on there to make sure it folds nice and tight. We'll just do the back one. Same again, over. Grease everywhere, everything's slippery. Through, around again. Back through a little loop again. Take this off, that just comes off, that's the waste from the other one. Don't need that anymore. So again, just poke that through. Seat it into the back, wind it nice and tight, make sure it's seated properly, it's in the right location. Wind it nice and tight, bend it, cut it, push it down, bend the tabs in, whack. So that is done. Now I just take it back to the office, well after I give it a huge clean, take it back to the office and put the yokes on. And then we're finished, both of them are finished. So yeah, put them in the cupboard, wait for the next stuff. Alright, so I'm going to start to reassemble these today, maybe a bit later on today. So here is the part number for the universal joints that fits into the half shafts. From memory these are like 20 or 25 bucks each. So in here, so there is the joint, and in this little bag is the grease nipple and the C-clips. They just fit straight back in here, so I'll show you those all going back together. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to press these into the outside here. First thing though, we're going to get the 4 cups off, not the seals, keep the seals on the cups. And we're going to seat the joint inside first. So it's set where we want it. It's going to be there. And then I'm going to put the cup on. Careful with the needle rollers because you can get them out of place pretty easy. That's that one side. And we're going to get the other side so it lines up nice and straight and true. And we're pressing it. So that's ready to go in the press. Which is going to be super hard for me to hold, but I'm going to try and hold it in the press. So that is all set up in the press. Now it doesn't need a lot of tension, so I might be able to just use the wheel and wind the wheel down just to push it in. So let's see if I can push it in. So this is just winding the wheel down. You can see that's already starting to move in there pretty nicely. We just want to push it down until you see where the circlip piece mounts, which is just coming in there. And he's going to need a little bit of tension with the press. Just a little bit of pressure. There is the circlip mount. You can see that just appeared there. So I'll be able to push that circlip straight into that one. So that is ready to seat the circlip now. So just going to seat that in there nicely. It should just click in pretty nicely with my finger. Not too much pressure. Yep, that's in there. I'll just give that a little tap with a hammer and seat that on that side. And actually, should get a bit of my finger still. It's pretty. Yeah, it should go on nicely actually. There we go. That's all seated in there. I will give it a little tap with a hammer just to push it down. So I've just given that a little whack with a hammer. Very, very light tap, and that's seated really nicely. So I'm going to turn it over now in the press and press that one down into its right position and then knock the circlip onto that one. So because the circlip's on that side, it should just press in and I shouldn't have to support it with anything. So it's very easy to press this next one down. So I'm just going to do that and come back over. So that is the other side all pressed in. So the circlips are all in and done now. Going to be pretty boring watching me put the other 6 of those in, so I'm just going to do that quickly and come back to you straight after. So the lucky last thing we're going to do, we've got both the ends on now, and we're just going to grease up these nipples and we are done. So those bad boys are done. Ready to go back in the car. This one was a bit of a pain because I had to sort of give it a bit of a massage, but it was just slightly, ever so slightly, not straight. So it wasn't like that. It was kind of like this, exaggerated, but that's how it was. But I just give it a bit of a press out with the press, and then yeah, no problem. Come out pretty. So yeah, that's them. Good as new. So thanks for watching this episode of Tarmac Obsession, guys. We're over 50 subscribers now, so that's awesome. This week in a bit of a recap, I ordered the brakes from Techno Toy, the Willwood fronts. I've got some stuff that I ordered previously that's on its way, the tri-bar front and rears, the caps for the coilovers, the skillet tank straps, Motorsport Auto from the Z store, I ordered some stuff there as well. So I got fender mirrors, console, just heaps of little clips and bits and pieces that I needed for inside the car. So we're starting to get right on top of everything that I needed to order. This week I'm going to do some work on getting the bumpers done. They're pretty straight, but they could be a lot straighter. I want to do them in powder coat black. So yeah, it's been a bit of work this week, got done, and I hope you did enjoy this bit of information on how to do the half shafts on the Z. So thanks for watching, really do appreciate it, guys. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon for new videos. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.